So spectra is the plural of spectrum, and so every concert that we do takes a one-word theme and refracts it into a spectrum of wide-ranging musical perspectives. So the idea is that every word on the program has something new to say about the theme and something new for you to understand and experience about said theme. And the idea is that we're all here to sort of celebrate the conversation that emerges between all the works on the program, and as it progresses, I just encourage you to remain curious about that conversation. Could you change the, sorry. Yeah. Just some logistical things before we get started. We have a website if you want to check out the concerts we've done so far, or have coming up. We have an Instagram, a YouTube, multiple ways to donate, which are always very deeply appreciated for our season. And if you have an idea of a great venue that might want to host something like this in the future, please come talk to me. So now we'll get into phonics, the theme for tonight. So this program is all about the relationship between language and music. And the concept of phonics might take you back to maybe your pre-K or kindergarten days when we were first learning about what language sounds like and how we turn letters into syllables and syllables into words and words into sentences. And I remember having this book of exercises almost, where like each page there would be like different endings to words. So if there was like a cat, you had to write a C, and if there was a bat, you had to write a B, and if there was a mat, you had to write an M, but they would all end in AT. And so there was this very musical way of kind of learning about not only how the letters look on the page, but also associating their meanings. So learning a first language is actually a very musical process. And then as we grow up, of course, we learn to use these words automatically and communicate like, second nature. And we don't often stop to think about the inherent musicality that is in the way that we speak on every level of our language. And so this program is supposed to sort of reconnect us with that essence. And each piece you're going to see has sort of a different approach to doing that. Maybe next slide if you can. Thanks, Katya. So we're going to start now with our first piece by the American composer Kate Soper. It's called Go Away, and it sets this poem by Olivier Davis. It's a prose poem, and I know that's a lot of text, so I just want to give you like 30 seconds maybe to scan this as much as you can. You don't have to understand every portion of it, but just so you get an idea of what's going on here. Let's just read it silently for 30 seconds. Sorry to cut you off if you're in the middle of that, but you can kind of tell it's a very confusing and twisty set of sentences. And a lot of them are like run-on sentences, they sort of go on, and it's sort of like we're in the head of this person that's trying to intellectualize being told, go away and don't come back, and try to understand all the undercurrents that are in that phrase. So now, as we listen to this piece by Kate Soper, it's for flute and soprano. They're going to have sort of like a dialogue going on between each other. See and listen for the way that Kate Soper highlights the emotional undercurrent of some of these words, and see if you can choose maybe one or two moments in the piece that sort of stick out or shock you in a way that you wouldn't quite feel if you were just reading the text on the page like this. And there are so many moments to choose from. So I'll now invite Emma McCartney and Katrina Lynch to perform Kate Soper's Go Away. Let's give them a round of applause.
could be measured might be exactly the same. Or perhaps the degree of anger would not be the same. Or perhaps it could be the same. But the anger would have to be of a different kind. A kind that could be shared as a problem, whereas this can only be told in those words he does not mean. So, it is not in the words that he heard, but the fact that he chooses to say the words that mean you should never come back. Even though he does not mean what the words say. Even though only the words themselves know what they say.
There you go, yeah, sorry. Okay. Okay, now we're moving to a different kind of prose. This next piece is going to be setting a letter that was written by Oscar Wilde when he was in prison. You might not know that Oscar Wilde was in prison, but indeed for 2 years, essentially for being gay in an extremely homophobic Victorian society that had laws against homosexuality, he was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor. And that is actually a picture of his cell as it looks today. And there's sort of a backstory to how he ended up on trial for this, which feels ridiculous to say today. But it ended up being the father of his then current lover named Lord Alfred Douglas, who convicted him. And then, like I said, he was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor, which was, of course, completely ruinous for his career, his reputation, and finances. But on top of all this, on a more personal note, it was also extremely heartbreaking because this basically severed the relationship that he had with Douglas, who basically showed no signs of remorse about the fact that Wilde was getting sentenced to prison while he was basically getting off entirely free. And while Wilde was in prison, he would actually write letters to Douglas and try to sort of keep that flame going, but unfortunately he never received any responses back. And so this letter that we're about to hear, at least parts of, is called De Profundis, and it's almost 50,000 words long. Sort of like the ultimatum letter that he wrote. It's kind of like the most epic breakup letter of all time. And in it, we of course hear about the turmoils of their relationship, but we also hear about Wilde's sense of the current injustice that he's going through, and also his desire to find a sense of hope and peace in this entire situation. And in fact, actually writing was one of the ways that he coped during his 2 years there. So it was important for him to write this letter. And we're not going to hear all 50,000 words. This composer, Frederic Rzewski, an American composer, he has set 8 distinct sections of the letter for speaking pianists. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to be reciting portions of the letter while accompanying myself on the piano and also doing a host of other musical effects to enhance the text. And before we get started on this, I have a quote up here from one of the parts of the letter that I thought was pretty poignant for the picture. It says, "Outside the day may be blue and gold, but the light that creeps down through the thick glass of the small iron-barred window is gray. It is always twilight in one's cell, as it is always twilight in one's heart. So you can listen for that portion of the letter when we get to it. We'll have the text projected up on the screen while I go through it. And it's really, it becomes a very intense kind of journey, almost a very spiritual kind of thing, going from this utmost devastation to trying to find some sense of hope by the end of it. So this is De Profundis by Frederic Rzewski. Let me get my foot train out. Just always know where they are going. And to go there, they start with the ideal desire of being the parish beadle, and they succeed in being the parish beadle. And no more. A man whose desire is to be something separate from himself succeeds in being what he wants to be. That is his punishment. Those who want to mask have to wear it. But with the dynamic forces of life, it is different. People who desire self-realization never know where they are going. They can't know. To recognize that the soul of a man is unknowable is the ultimate achievement of wisdom. The final mystery is oneself. When one has measured the steps of the moon and mapped the 7 heavens, there still remains oneself. Who can calculate the orbit of his own soul? To There's such a thing as leaving mankind alone. There is no such thing as hurting mankind. All forms of government are failures. to live long enough and to produce work of such character that I shall be able, at the end of my days, to say, yes, this is just where the artistic life leads a man. For the last 7 or 8 months, in spite of a succession of great troubles reaching me from the outside world, almost without intermission, I have been placed in direct contact with a new spirit, working in this prison through man and things that has helped me beyond words. So that while for the first year of my imprisonment, I did nothing else and can remember doing nothing else but wring my hands in despair and say, what an ending, what an appalling ending. Now I try to say to myself, and sometimes, and I have not tortured myself to really say, what a beginning, what a wonderful beginning. Thank you very much. We'll take like a 5-minute break now. I made some pumpkin bread if you want a little treat. So it's over there, and I didn't bring any napkins, but there should be some in the bathroom, I think, so we can get some. But yeah, see you in like a few minutes for the next half.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're going to have the piece that is on the program. So that you'll see there's a picture on the program, and for every one of these concerts, I always like to choose an image that sort of like encapsulates the whole thing. And so this time it just happened to be the score because it's so colorful and illustrated. This is John Cage's Aria, and it's not going to be an aria in the traditional opera sense of the word, but it is a very operatic and a very dramatic piece. And I just want to take you through some of the parameters that Katya is going to be navigating as she performs this extremely virtuosic number. So I'll tell you about 3 things. First is the text. So even on this first page, you can maybe tell that the text is actually in different languages, and they sort of come at different moments. There's actually 5 languages that are blended throughout this whole piece. There's English, French, Italian, Russian, and Armenian. And so even on this first page, that first gesture there is actually Armenian, and Juruki is also Armenian, Di questa terra, Italian, da Prazno, Russian, etc., etc. So these changes happen like really, really quickly. The next factor is the wavy lines that you see throughout. So this is a graphic score, and this is Cage's way of sort of notating how he wants the text to be expressed, and no two of these lines are exactly the same as each other. So that's another factor Katya is navigating. And then finally, you have the different colors of the lines. And so each color indicates a different style of singing. And those styles are chosen by the singer at the beginning, but they have to be consistent through the whole piece. So let's say the dark blue is going to be more of like a jazz style. So wherever you see a dark blue, you have to sing in that style. If it's yellow, maybe it's more operatic. If it's green, maybe it's more folksy, but the timbre is entirely up to the singer. So on top of like juggling, all of these things, the question is, what are we as audience members listening for in a piece like this? It's certainly not the meaning of the text. Because even if you were fluent in all 5 of these languages, there's no way that at the rate at which things change and go on that you could piece together a coherent narrative from what's going on here. This is really about the sonic threads that are between these languages, between the vowels and the consonants. So we're really listening to the words as music of sorts. And it really is, it's sort of like a playground for language, kind of, where it doesn't have to worry about specifically meaning something. It's just sort of like having fun with its sound. That's how the score looks to me. So I'll leave it now to Katya to give us John Cage's Aria, and I'll be flipping through the score so you can see what she's going throughout the piece. So here's Katya again to perform John Cage's Aria.
lo spazio, il canto. Mi cerco la suora possibile. Tentato as a goose.
So the next, something happened to the next piece on the program, we're actually going to skip tonight because I was just going to play a recording of it. It's just an electronic piece, but we don't have the sound hooked up and we couldn't get that all figured out. So when I post this later online, I'll put a YouTube link to what the recording should have been. It's a really neat piece by the Korean-American composer Peter S. Shin. It's about Korean pop music. And the reason I put it on the program is because pop music is one of these arenas that really prioritizes the musicality of the words, and whether it's through rhyme or repetition or electronic effects that are applied to the vocal, a pop song is always thinking about how to get that language stuck in your head. And so his piece really explores the dynamic of pop music as an art form and as a commercial product in Korean culture. It's this really cool collage where he takes excerpts of sound bites from different Korean pop girl groups and sort of arranges them in this really unique way. So I will link to that so you can listen to it on your own time. But now we're going to go to a song by French composer Olivier Messiaen. It's called Syllabes. It's literally called Syllabes. And it's from a large song cycle that he wrote called Aria. And in total, this cycle takes about like an hour to perform. So it's a very epic kind of work. And we've loved working on this song so much that we have plans to maybe eventually get the whole thing together because it's really cool. But basically, this song sort of is a really nice microcosm for like the whole thing, and it explores what happens throughout, which is this alternation between the French language and the Quechua language. If you don't know, Quechua is a group of indigenous languages that are spoken by people living in the Andes in South America. And so throughout the cycle, Messiaen actually alternates between the two, and the title of this whole cycle, Haroui, is actually a Quechua word for a genre of love song. And the whole cycle is this epic love story between two lovers that meet on Earth, are parted by death, and reunite in this kind of spiritual world that is created. And this piece comes right after the song called Adieu, where basically they're, parting from each other on Earth. And so this song, the whole cycle is a very surrealist kind of mystical exploration of the love story. And in this song, it really feels like the new world is sort of being created for them. So we alternate between these lyrical expressive sections that have all this French symbolism, green dove, figure 5, double violet, and all of these things are actually symbols that stand in for the lovers. And then you will hear this alternate with an almost violent and rhythmic dance-like section where we start to get on the bottom of the screen here is the Quechua. Kai pipas, mai pipas, pia 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 pia, which you're going to hear repeated a lot of times, dondu chio. And these syllables or words, Messiaen is not really using so much for their meaning as for their intense and percussive sound. And so in the dance-like sections, it's really like the final shaking off of the mortal coil, if you will. And so you have the alternation between like the sacred space being established and sort of like, trying to get off the earth, sort of like once and for all. And so you'll listen for that alternation that occurs. And let me go get my iPad and we will perform the syllables. musical accompaniment, just words. And this is a collection of poems that I wrote this past summer. And I like them so much that I wanted to share them with you all. So there's about 45, and they're very short. And the title of the whole collection is called The Physics of Love. So you'll see the visual form of the poem on the screen, and I'll also be reciting it. And I don't want to say too much about what these poems are, except that I encourage you to listen to this as music, whatever that means to you. So, this is The Physics of Love. In which the sun rolls across the sky, and by some alchemy interlocks with the eye on a bed of carnations. Poesis. I can't untie birds singing, sun from tree. Nature plays ear, mirror, where we are molecular fortune, my heart repeats. Tide. Frozen moon eyes spin spiral against your eternal dial, shell flitting into out of wave. Syllogism. I am tangible, tangential. I reel the blank sea turning back and further back on its spool. Untethered, I ride the gull's wide angle. Liquor. Among glittering fronds, I drink moonlight distilled from ages of the sun, and scents fermented past rearranging on my tongue. Condensation. All noise, all vibrancy colliding in the plane of Velso, liquefied by tongue's patch with breast aggregate. Party. Tenuous spring or fanfare of spores and fractals poles, mathematical awe equating eye to eye. Optics. Was the sun spilled, or could its shape be roped and pulled across the sea's coiled surface? Was the sun spilled, or could its shape be roped and pulled across? Was the sun spilled, or could its shape be dust? Between blinks, the geese shift sky just slightly, holding a crescent, accelerating from moon to loop earth like twine. And in your eyes, I see mine, and see the frame through which I have seen. Boys in pomegranate groves, mastering speeds of hawk, hare, and bee, unafraid to exercise one another and absorb the fruit's endless tenderness. Bees. On grandfather's farm, the hum, the hives marked with dates, wax overtones. A suit hangs in the distance like a ghost, and in tall grass I uncover a honeycomb. Cells reference other cells, a maze held in awe. It is hollow. Hear the collie in wind, the same wind that is making the fiddle sing and the bees dance. Inside, jars line shelves like picture frames. I open one for tea. Crystalline, the sugars dissolve. Charge of air I desire, the ecstasy of bees flowing from word to flower, magnetized and released in celestial motor. ode. The line is a force from me to you, separating you from me in the secret hope that you may recognize this motion as your own. Bramble, ripe with gnomic berries scattered like eyes of earth bewitching us as we flee. Rot, ticker, rat, tick. Heart. I broke my heart. For my art, I broke my art. For my heart, I broke my art. For my heart, I broke. Raindrops spoke. Heart, 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 heart. Not. He loves me. Not he loves me. He loves me. Not he loves me. He loves me. Not he loves me. Psalm. Ticking bloom. Rhyme partials praising cochlea while morning ripples. Sun in palm. Simile. I said like glass, but what I meant was that I hold each shard in place so I might yet be. Friction. Persimmons orbitus like ornaments spaced in just across silent fibers of the snow. Subject. Pollinate me, I am infinite. Object. Fit to universe between butterfly eye wings. Seminal. My seed flies, I die and die and die. I feel so gorgeous, unmasking the afterlife. If thoughts a tomb, poetry is mummy. Post-mortem, I walked into irony near a cemetery while replaying remnants from a rave. The graves amplified each flight of hyper-pop, blurring soul with bone as I probed the beat of loss. When melody becomes memory, is it immortal or just another guess? Vernal, return to dirt. Genetics decompose, dyes, hybridize, rhizomic shooting, rooting to being yet become. Woods. Call it nostalgia. Tip of sin. Branches fall. Balance. Wisp under your breath. The blue jay darts against the history of us. Archipelago. The flowers, living geometry, and perishing. In a word, I wink back at the bird. Move with me to sun's choreography. I'm so divisible, I'm whole. Poem shows us ways to float. Winter trees, winter stars are desire. You studied wind and began again. Aperture. The body, the photograph, the sun, my lover. I snap like camera. The sun crawls on the photograph. The sun body of you are in, you are out of body is a ray. Lyric. I must speak, though I'm spoken for by all you construe to not be the frame. Yet I must speak, for I love what I've been parted from. I must find how to find it, and speak as Messiaen spirit. Toes as ever-riddled tones rang with marsh spells I salvaged, groped in synchrony, and broke. Gnats, they warp air like clockwork, forward and back on time's hinge, a dream swarms. I remember you are not even here. Dance. Listen when limbs become the threat of infinities as real as the next foot or finger, rephrasing what space is. Deciduous. The way I know the trees are thinking is when I see leaves set like lenses making colors of seconds. I slow their strain and join, snapping into procession. Sighing, scything, psyche, synecdoche, autumn, I'm phallic, yonic, phonic. Origin. Why not just break over and over until the breaks begin to caress, coalesce like ions, eons that hold agony and hold love. One by one, I pick a bouquet of debris and sing. Fringe. Take Queen Anne's lace, central speck surrounded in protein skirt. The story goes she pricked her finger sewing, thus suspending a drop of blood in the work. A microscopic star pulling remoter filaments, binding a horizon in place. Queer. Oh, you won't love me, yet cry to my poetry as though I were moon more than man. If I must be lunar, let this phase and distant caress your skin in a wild resonance. Phase. Language lags like a lunar fraction pursues itself on a continuum of positions. A language lags like a lunar fraction pursues itself on a continuum of positions. Language lags like a lunar fraction pursues itself on a continuum of positions. Chains. Lower, flown, half a flame of frail. Splinter road ordained sound douse. Water toward drawn in tropic tot. Matter man, your neuron ornate here. Valence. Inflected flock. Immortal marigold. Chromatic cocktail. Nucleonic moon, nucleonic cocktail, chromatic marigold, immortal flock, inflected. Nucleonic moon, chromatic cocktail, immortal marigold, inflected flock, flock, inflected marigold, immortal cocktail, chromatic moon, nucleonic. Chorus. Because the sun is the base on countersits, roses merge, thorns return. I have sifted the petals, weighed the hour and found light composes here, revises there, disappears into air. Replication is variation, sense, cipher. Fluorescence. Scent is 1 degree. From sense vegetation, a refraction of life, as the tulip is cosmic anatomy that turns and turns in me. Conceit. Arriving at me. I'm lost. Who was who? Boy and one. Rhyme. Dialectic. Dexterous spider measures forever in gossamer. Thunder embroidered me with lightning's augury. One truth is as convex or concave as any. Kiss the atoms and then think about kissing them. hummingbird. Aerial architect, he word in ear before curving mind to eye. I turned around and caught him drink mercurially from a purple lip, erase all proof as he went. Every lip punctuated what physics kept unknown. The quantum creature randomized reality. Oak. I read from center and never reached the ends as syntax thinned to the edge of thought. Aesthetics. Beauty is when wonder suspends now and then, when yen meets death, when the daffodil could be material for a god. Tension. Watching dragonflies carve water into time, laced with memories, entropy. June. As I tune the sun tunes me. I complicate the leaf he simplifies, or is it the other way around? In that my matter is his music is my matter. Sonnet. In love, vowel, ashen, accidental slides, you're conspiring with eyelets, laugh to whirl elastic the lilacs, and all they spell out, spilling from sown ground, forever will twirl emotion on a wheel, and still not grasp its full iridescence. The lines vaporize, then congeal like ice. Physis. I found a word for you, and as it eroded, I decided to grow a poem. If we are, let each law in our nature and art fall. Form is intimate, intimation, imitation of being. Thank you. Get some more pumpkin bread and join our
And
evening.
follow us for next concert.
Yes, follow us for next